Morning everybody, it's the 1st of March and we've come to Todber Manor. We're going to fish for silvers on Ash Lake. Now the reason we're here this morning is because I'm going to Stafford Moor in a week's time for a Silverfish Festival, and we fished that festival last year. For any of you who sort of watched the videos, I came 10th overall. First time down there, I was fairly pleased. I did get beat up by those Carasio things a couple of times, so we learnt a little bit about them, so I hope to catch a few of those this year, to be honest. But I haven't fished for silver since that, so it's been like, you know, a year. So although we've caught a few to sort of boost our overall weight, it's acorn over this sort of winter league, I haven't really fished for them, so I thought I'd better come over, have a bit of a practice, just to get used to some light elastic, smaller hooks. I mean, just tying a few hook lengths this week has been, just seemed weird again. Tying sort of 08 hook, you know, 08 line and things again, after sort of fishing 012s and so on throughout the winter. So generally I do fish silvers throughout the winter and go on a sort of silverfish campaign, but this year I sort of stuck with the carp. So, but it's been quite good. It's been quite successful, really. I mean, we won the Acorn Winter League, didn't we? And we've also fished the Todber Manor teams of 5. But I'm not going to say anything about that now, just in case I haven't let the video out. The moment I'm saying this, I haven't let it out, but I don't know which one's going to come out first, this one or that one. But that one I'm going to try and put all 5 matches on one video, so quite a feat. I've never put 2 matches together, let alone 5. So, so we'll see which one comes out first. So I'll stop yapping now. I'm going to go down and have a nice bit of breakfast. Beautiful breakfast at Todber Manor, I must admit. Real quality. Same as everything here, really. I hope the fishing's going to be the same. Last week was really mild for the last match of the teams of 5. Because we've had a couple of silver sections in. We have Mark Harper up on the Ash Lake here. And the weights last week were good. Lots of 20s, a few 30s. But we've had these frosts now for the last 3 nights. I think it's going to knock it back. So I just hope we get a peg where we can catch a few. See you in a bit. So quick update, we've drawn 64. We've gone a pound with Jamie before the draw, and unfortunately he's drawn absolutely sock on 68. I don't know why they call me bungo, obviously. Are you noticing a theme now with my drawing? Anyway, we'll see what we can do. Looking forward to it. Not fished for silvers for quite a while, so see you in a bit.
I would have had 70, 71 to be the ones I would have.
Would you? Yeah. Okay. I've got half a chance then.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Alright, let's see. Okay.
Oh, one just come up there, look. As if by magic.
On cue. Ooh.
That time?
No, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to call it after finish it.
Or is it a pike?
It is 10.
Let's go for it.
Who started?
He's got the time.
All in!
Right, you've got to call the all out as well, man.
You have.
You have. You've gone by your what?
No, they'll come up. They'll come up then.
Oh, do they with the hooter?
They'll come up then.
Ah,
They
okay.
know how it works.
Okay.
They'll turn up. It's already with the scales look like fucking free.
Alright.
So 2 balls of ground bait out on this 14.5 metre line, and then 1 little sloppy ball off to the left, about 4 metres off to the left. We spend the first 20 minutes on the maggot feeder looking for well, anything really: perch, ide, skimmers, tench.
Over there, Bob?
No, nothing, mate. I don't think anybody's caught anything from what I'm aware of. I get very bored on this bit very quickly. I can watch the motion this close confidently, but I can't watch this very confidently if it's gone round. You think I'm going to fly
do what you're doing.
So nothing after 20 minutes. So we swapped the maggot feeder over to a small ground bait feeder. Now I'm using like a little 15 gram Drennan cage. I just don't think they want the food. You know, a little bit of ground bait is an attraction. I think the maggots is just too much meat. So the angler on my left has caught an eyed short, and Matt on our right has caught an eyed tight across on a maggot feeder. So just in case, I'm doubting we'll catch more than like one or two there, but just in case, I'm just plumbing with my rig for the 14.5 metre line on a short line, so I can ping a few maggots there for eyed if they sort of rock up, really. It seems very bright and flat to me, although on my left has had one.
Yeah. It's just like constantly jaggedy, aren't they?
So we pinged a few maggots about 10 minutes ago. Had a couple of shots on the feeder, nothing. So back over those maggots just to see if there is an early fish on it.
I don't know if they come that close here or not, mate.
So being short with those maggots is doing the peg no harm, is it? Because everything else we're doing is further out than that. So I'm not doing any harm. And I dare not feed it. As soon as I've seen locals doing this and one eyed being caught, although it's only one, I'm just thinking, what if they had to go in the like last half hour, and it's something I haven't realised and everybody catches 10 eyed short. You know, you can't afford to miss out on something like that. So although I don't like other people changing my game plan, I don't sit here with my eyes closed, you know. So slowly but surely we just start building that feeder swim, and nothing really happens for sort of, I don't know, 20 minutes I suppose on and off it. So what we do now is we flick a feeder out full and we empty it straight away, sort of just under the surface, that sort of mid-water. We do that twice just to cause a little cloud and something to drop down through the water. So a little trick we can use in tough conditions to get a bite or two and try and get the peg started. And we managed to do this with nobody really noticing as well, to be honest, so that was quite handy as well. You don't want others to be doing it right next to you because it's sort of a little line to myself, isn't it? Although Matt is fishing a feeder to my right, but he's fishing tight in across, which has got about 3 foot of water. And remember what we always say, you know, that first hour of a match, I'm never in a rush. I'm not worried about falling behind by a fish or two. What we're trying to do is work out our own little game plan and something that might be a little bit different than others, but something that suits ourselves, what we're confident in. Take conditions into account, of course, and just try and figure out 1 or 2 things you can do to catch a few fish on. So this is real time, as you can see. We flick that feeder out after emptying this couple of feeders because I'm expecting a response, you know, within the next 2 minutes really. It's a trick that can get your peg going, catch you some fish when it's difficult, when it's either very cold or very bright or very flat. And we've got all three, haven't we? It's -3 this morning. Although the sun's out now and it feels quite warm, the air temperature certainly isn't. So we flick a few maggots, as you've seen as well, on that short line. And we'll slowly build that up and drop in on it, now and then when we feel like it, and see if there is a fish or two there. You know, it might be another line that we can drop on just to rest something, and there we go. Our little tricks worked, and we're hopefully off the mark. I mean, we have to keep things in perspective. Conditions like this, and on this lake, I think, £18 would be a good weight. 20 pound would be a very good weight. That's a small skimmer, but welcome, isn't it? Hand side, 4 or 5 ounces, 5 ounces, I reckon.
That power.
Yeah, the top lip. Top of the back of the power, look like.
So we're off the mark. No more bites on the short pole or the long pole, and I don't want to gamble staying on it any longer, otherwise the feeder line's going to sort of drift away. So just going to top up a little ball on the main line. Keep pinging a few maggots on that short line. As I say, it's not really doing us any harm. And then we're going to empty another little feeder fall across and then go straight down on it. That was a very small bite from a small skimmer, I think. Oh, we're off the mark. So that wind's got up and that air being moved around so you can suddenly start feeling it. So the jacket's gone back on again. So our feeder setup today is that 15-gram cage feeder, little Drennan one, little sort of square one. Very well made little feeder, and it's on a 2-inch paternoster, and below the paternoster, a running paternoster, so then just below that we've got two stop beads, and then some 6 inches of twizzled line below that, and then a sort of foot hook length, and a very small hook, size 22. And that's because I want to fish single maggots, maybe even single pinkies, double pinkies and so on, and the hook is light. The bites are so small, and just with it being so bright and so sunny, um, that's how I like to do it. So that's what I'm trying to do. Skimmers don't come off if you've got a really soft rod. And it's a 9 foot. This is an old little 9 foot Super G bomb rod, Garbolino, brilliant rod. Got a lot of fish on this rod over the years. Very soft. And we set the ratchet very lightly as well, so as we can strike on those bites. And if we do hook into a substantial fish, the rod just bends round and then the line gives. We've already established while we've been playing about on and off that feeder that single maggot have been the best hook bait. Funny, that was quite a surprise to me. I thought sort of pinkies, but it's been a single maggot. In these sort of conditions, all you really look, when I say I light eye fishing and everything, it isn't because I expect to catch loads of fish just like that. It's about starting to get bites. It's about starting to catch fish and working something out in that first hour, and then hopefully you can build on that. So what feels like another little skimmer, isn't it? Love little skimmers. Give such tiny bites, don't they? Whether it's on a float or a tip. A chunky 10 to 12 ounce fish. So when you're feeder fishing for these size skimmers, you want to be fishing as soon as the feeder touches the bottom. So your line has to be well worn, or put some detergent or something on it, but it has to sink, and it has to sink quite quickly. You need to be fishing, in that first 20-30 seconds. Sometimes you can get bites from those small skimmers. They rush into the cloud of the feeder. Wow, a bite out of the blue. It's right on top of our positive line where we put 2 balls. So a few people sort of said to us earlier that you want peg 68 to 71. Now it's gone cold. That sort of fish are sort of sitting there, but we're having a few bites, aren't we? We're having a day's fishing. A couple of small fish off the pole there as well, which is nice. I don't mind catching those if they keep coming, but unfortunately they didn't. So just putting a bit of back shot on that rig while I had my feeder out there, and typically I had a little bite on the feeder. It's nice fishing, to be fair, isn't it? It's just odd chunky little silvers to be caught here and there, just sort of winkling them out. You can visibly notice the difference in the fish's response when it is flat carb and bright. When the breeze comes up, the fishing's definitely a little bit better. And even, dare I say, the stamp of fish almost improves a little bit. You know, the skimmers are slightly bigger. Just want that breeze to keep coming, really. Nice to have the sun shining on us, but as you all know, it's not ideal fishing conditions, is it? So fishing has got very hard. We had to bring it to life again. So we do our little trick with emptying the feeder just sort of under the surface, just the once, and then just drop straight on top of it and leave it, and hope we get a bite. It works, doesn't it? And straight away I pick up the rod and I can feel it's a heavier fish. The fish aren't wandering far from the feed, but they're definitely spooting in that bright sun. I just think that ripple just creates a little bit of salvation for them. As you've seen, you sort of stimulate them with that little chuck of ground bait, and then emptying it off the bottom and letting it go down, and then flicking the little feeder over it.
Struggling on the 3 out.
They look mad playing these little skimmers sort of under my feet, but we really are fishing very light and a very small hook, and I don't want to pull out of them. They don't like it, do they, when you bring them up to the bright sunshine? Oh, and that's the best fish we've had today by a long chalk. Oh, that's £2. It's lovely.
Fishing brave?
Yeah, he's bigger than our little tench, isn't he? Can you believe it? The wind has got up a little bit and the sun has actually gone behind a bit of cloud, and it feels like a totally different match now. Just testament to what we were saying earlier, really, and the sort of, anglers, as anglers, I don't think we can ever underestimate the impact the sort of weather has on our fishing, can we? So relevant. So as we mentioned earlier, the reason we come today is because we're going down Stafford Moor next week, and we've not really fished for silvers since Stafford last year, um, and that's sort of why I stuck to fishing for skimmers and sort of come here with a ground bait plan. Not because I think all ground bait's going to win here today, especially off this peg really, but I just think it's what I need to be doing before I go down to Stafford. So fishing little hooks, light lines, you know, um, trying to get them sort of started in a peg, ground bait, etc. If I chucked to the far side with a maggot feeder and caught some ide, we'd have caught a few fish. I don't think we catch any more than we have today, that's for sure. But it wouldn't have taught me anything for Stafford. Wouldn't have got me used to anything. Practice is everything, and just chucking a little feeder. So yeah, just tying those little hooks again. Really, playing fish on very light tackle, etc. It just gets you sort of into that groove, doesn't it? And I feel today we've fished an okay match really. From where we're to, I think we've just fished tidy, and I think that's important. Sometimes when you're driving home, win or lose, I think sometimes when you drive home, you know when you fished a tidy match, and you know also when you fished a bad match. I mean, in the past, I know I've fished bad matches and still framed because I've been on absolute flyers. But you haven't particularly fished well. But I think today, considering the amount of time since we fished for silvers, yeah, we've done all right.